my senior faculties, and all the colleagues. Today we are going to discuss a guide to writing good MCQ. When we talk about good MCQ, it means mere writing an MCQ is not good enough, but there are few prerequisites or few criteria which will make it to come fit in a good MCQ. So we will be discussing about what are those prerequisites and what are those criteria for writing an MCQ which can make it good MCQ. We are seeing for last 2 decades that MCQ has become a very important component of the objective examination, and whether it is a simple formative assessment or this summative assessment or even classroom assessment. We know in classroom assessment and informative assessment, it is meant for basically learning purpose, and summative assessment is for a different purpose, which is not for learning but assessing the student. Not only these sort of assessments, but even there are some entrance examinations and competitive examinations. In those examinations also, the MCQ has become the choice of type of questions. And in these examinations, we do see that ranking of the students is of paramount importance, because depending upon the rank only, they will be taking the students in their course or for any post. So we can understand how important becomes the ranking of the students in these examinations. And if in these examinations also MCQ is being the choice of type of question, it must be having very good points in its favor. Though NMC has recently just limited its use maximum up to 20% for the questions in the examinations under CBME, but it doesn't mean that they don't want that these questions should be asked more. But the cause behind it, that framing the question for higher domain learning or higher level of learning is pretty difficult, and it takes lots of time. That is the cause behind limiting it at the 20% of maximum. When we are framing an MCQ, actually we have to be very cautious that for what purpose we are going to frame these MCQs and which type of assessment it is going to be used. We know that many a times we do say that the students are, few students are not the regular reader, but they are a seasonal reader, and they study on the time of examinations only. So basically, what is the inference? It means assessment or examination encourages the student to study, even if they are not willing for a regular study. So it is a very important motivating factor for learning for the students. Then many a times we have felt that all the topics are not being covered by us, and we are not able to even finishing all the topics of the syllabus. And particularly nowadays in the COVID area, when we are facing this pandemic, we have seen that many of the topics are remaining as such. And these are the topics which are covered by the students themselves. Even in earlier days also, the medical science is very tough and very vast subject. So to cover it completely is not so easy. So in those cases, we have seen the components of the curriculum which has not been covered in the class. It is covered by the students themselves with the help of self-learning or self-directed learning. Not only it is self-directed learning only which is helping us, but there is one more factor which is helping us with the help of examination. When we take the examination, many a times students which they have learned in the class, but it was not at the level of deep learning. And when they are in the class, they think over it and they analyze it, and then they are able to find the answers. So in this way, we can say that examination or test or assessment are helping the students in learning in the examination also. So we can see that there are many purposes or many effects which are brought down by these assessments and type of questions which we do set in the examinations. So today's discussion main objectives are we will be going through the structural elements or components of the MCQ, then formats of MCQ, steps in writing MCQ, and then we will discuss do's and don'ts for writing MCQ with evidence-based guidelines. I'm saying it evidence-based guidelines because whatever we will be discussing over here is based upon mainly two books. One has been written by Susan et al. And he has discussed about different structure, different formats of the MCQs. And one more review book is by Dr. Halladina et al. And there he has researched a large number of textbooks, literatures, articles, and then he wrote a review, and depending upon that review, he framed few guidelines on the different structural elements. So now let us come to a basic component or basic structural component of an item. Item, when we talk about item, refers to any question in the examination, and it may be a long answer question or it may be even MCQ. So here we are referring item word for the MCQ only. So any MCQ is having three parts, three components. The first is known as a stem, and this stem consists of an statement. This consists of an statement. A paragraph or 2-3 liner statement is written, which is known as stem, and this continues into a question depending upon this statement. So this question is known as lead in. So first is the statement about any patient, and that is known as stem. Then stem leads into a question which is known as lead in, and then this is followed by a number of choices, A, B, C, D, E, F, which is also known as options. And out of these choices or options, there will be one correct answer or one will be the most appropriate answer, which is known as best answer. The remaining will be either wrong answer or it will be correct answer, but not the most correct or the most appropriate answer. That's why it is known as distractor, and these are very much plausible with the correct answer. Then we can discuss about the formats. So with the time, the different formats have come. So we can say changing formats of MCQ with time. In the very beginning, the type A format came, which was having single item or set, means single statement, and this single statement is followed by 4 or more options, out of which one will be the most appropriate answer or the best answer, and most appropriate answer, and the remaining will be either less appropriate answer, correct, but not the most correct answer, or maybe even wrong. And these other options, which are not correct or most appropriate answer, are known as distractor. Then after some time, they found no, it is not giving them all what they wanted. So they made some changes and they came to B type of format, which was having 4 or 5 options. It would have been either matching items. And here what they changed, that they just summed up 2 or 5 items together. Okay, so we will see its detail later on. Then later on, after some time again, they came up with a new format that is known as C-type format. And in this, either the A option is correct, or the B option is correct, or both the options are correct, or neither of the options are correct. So this again came as another format, and we are aware that we still do use such type of formats. Then later on, you can find here that this name has, this symbol is simply denoting the name of type of format, and it has nothing to do with its name, but it is simply in serial order it has been given, like A, B, C type. Okay, so later on the K format came, and this was a bit complex format, and it was telling a statement and then whether it is true or false. After that, another type came, that was X type. It was again true or false items. And after that, again, there was another simulation type of format came of item, and it was known as patient management problem, because it was having a very good vignette of case scenario, and this case scenario was followed by few questions. Okay, and after all, the most latest one is the R type, which is the extended matching item, and it is a set of 2 to 20 items. In fact, this is very complex, and many of the people don't like such type of format. So basically, we can divide MCQ family into 5 types. That is the one best response, then matching type, then multiple true false type, then multiple completion type, and then reasoning assertion or relationship analysis between the statement and the options. So basically, this is also about the same 7 types of A, B, C, K, R type of formats. Here also we are talking about the same MCQs. So basically, later on it was divided into 2 families. So the family is, one family belongs to true and false, another family belongs to one best answer. So true false options family require examinee to check all the statements whether it is true or it is false. And in one best answer, they have to select one best answer. So this is the main difference between these 2 types. But both of this family, we can see, is having different subtypes. That also we will be discussing in the later classes. Then comes, let us go for the one best answer. And here we have seen that A, B, and R, 3 types are there. We have already seen it in the one-based format. And true-false format is having C, K, and X type, followed by PMP, that is the patient management, problems showing a vignette, having case scenario, followed by options. Now, let us come to the basic criteria for a good item. Whenever you go to any good book, even Susan et al. Writes that basic criteria for a good item should have or must address important content. So whatever we are going to ask, it should be very important and common to find in day-to-day life in their practice. Then it must be well structured, and it should avoid any flaws or irrelevant difficulty. We should not include irrelevant difficulty in any question. So we will discuss it with the help of guidelines which has been given by the Halladina in his review book. But before going that, we should see what are the steps of writing MCQ. So when we are talking about it should address an important content, then obviously we need to sample the content, that what will be asked and where will be asked and how it will be asked. So sampling of the objectives to be covered is the first step for writing any MCQ. How it is done, that we will see. Mostly the blueprinting or table 2x2 table is used for this sampling purpose. Then writing stems followed by options, and after this is written, then whole of the questions with options are edited and validated by an expert team. Now let us come to the sampling of the content, and sampling of the content depends on the purpose of the test. So we should take care of that for what purpose, for which purpose we are formatting this MCQ. If we are formatting it in the class test or in the formative assessment where we are going to give the feedback to the student, then we have to sample the content in a different way, because we want to cover maximum components, maximum contents in the formatting assessment, so that the students can learn, because here the purpose is learning and not the assessment or ranking of the student or the scoring of their performance. So that is low stake. Here the learning is the main motto of the students. But in high stakes, where there is they are getting scores or grades, or they are getting graduating, or they are competing for some examination for admission, in those cases the sampling should be in a different manner. So both the purpose will have a different type of sampling method. Here, I have just given the blueprinting table, that is the 2x2 table, and this is using the Bloom's taxonomy. So we have used, because in the learning we have seen that it depends upon the Bloom's taxonomy what level of learning or domain we are going to test. So what happens at first, here for convenience, I have divided the whole of the curriculum into two topics, topic A and topic B, just for the sake of convenience. But in exams, we will be needing to divide it in many components and topics. So here, for convenience purpose only, this is topic A and topic B. So including topic A and topic B, total marks will be 100%. So total questions will be 100%. And if we divide it in two parts, So 40% questions or marks should belong to topic A and 60% should belong to topic B. Then in both the topics, out of this 40% total questions, some question should belong to knowledge and comprehension level. That is the lowest domain of knowledge, and that should include 10%. Always remember that this should be at the minimum. Knowledge domain or comprehension domain is the lowest level of learning, so we should include minimum questions from this lowest level. Here we can also see that this 15% is the lowest number. Okay, then comes to application. Here we should increase. Here it is coming to 20%, though it is remaining as 15 only. And then still higher domain and higher level of learning, when the student can analyze, he should be able to synthesize and evaluate the case. In that case, it may be 10%, or even it would have been 20%, and this would have been 10%. Okay, and this should be 30% if it is very important topic. Okay, so altogether what we are seeing, that from the lowest level learning, 25% question should be there. For application, 35 should be there. For higher domains, then this 40% should be there, that is analysis, synthesis, and evaluation. So the highest domain should include the highest contribution of the marks or question. Okay, so I think now we are clear about it. Then come to the guidelines. Just now we talked that Haladina, TM, and Downing et al., they have given some guidelines about the classroom examination MCQ setting. Okay, and he has given a total number of 8 guidelines on the content. Then 2 guidelines on the formatting concern. They have given 3 guidelines on the style concern, 4 guidelines on the construction of stem, including lead-in, and then 14 guidelines are for the choices, how to structure the choices. Now let us come on the content concern. So what they recommend, that every item should reflect a specific content and a single specific mental behavior. Means a single level of learning, that is whether it is knowledge domain or analysis or comprehension. So it should be single one, and content should be specific. Now base should each item should be based on important content to learn, and trivial contents should not be used. Then he again says that novel material, which are important, they should test higher level of learning. And when we are quoting about something written in the books, like some theory or something like that, then we should avoid to use the we should avoid simply quoting it. In fact, we should paraphrase it. We should write it in our own words. Otherwise, what will happen? It will help them to rote memory. It will just recollect the information and they will write it down or write the answer. So it will not test them properly. Then content should be independent for different items. Means we should use single item for single question. Means single content for single item, and the next item should have a different content. Okay, so here he is advocating not different types of B type or C type. In fact, he is advocating A type of the format. Now, over specific or over general content should be avoided. Then opinion-based items should not be there. We should not use our opinion in the item. Then tricks should be avoided. We should not try to trick the students. Vocabulary should be simple. Grammatically, it should be correct. Then formatting concern. The formats item should be structured in such a way that options are given in a vertical order, not in the horizontal order. So that format is very important for easy understanding of the question. Then we should avoid complex type of the multiple choice question like type K. Type K, he is saying that it is not at all a good type of format. Then true false also, he is saying we should avoid it. Okay, multiple true false also, they are saying that we should avoid it. Then edit and proof items. We should, after writing MCQ, we should edit it and do the proofing so that it is correct. There should not be any grammatical mistake. There should not be any punctuation or capitalization or the spelling mistake. So it should be rightly formatted, grammatically correct question so that a student can understand it very easily. Then minimize the amount of reading in each item. We should not make it such a long statement that it takes much of time to understand the question and then they are lost in understanding the question. Then ensure that the directions in the STEM are very clear, in which direction the questions are being asked. That should be very much specific. Then include the central idea in the STEM instead of the choices. This we will be very much clear when we will be doing next session in the practice, how we are writing. And there we will see that all the information, all the inputs are given in the STEM only. It is this idea which is being stated over here. All the informations required to answer should be given in the STEM, and choices should have only and only answers, but not the information about the question. Now, avoid windows dressing. Many a times, window dressing, you know, that it has nothing to do with just to create confusions or to just trick. We do the window dressing. So that also we should avoid. Then STEM should be written positive, not negative. And so we should avoid not except these words. Earlier we were using this in different formats. It is being used still where they are using it. But we should avoid not or except options in any of the statement. Then develop as many effective choices as you can, but research suggests 3 is adequate. So he's saying, Haladina et al. Saying that after review, that this is enough to give only 3 options, though 4 or 5 may be given. Then make sure that only one of these choices is the right answer or the most appropriate answer. It should not happen that the 2 right answers are there and 2 are equally appropriate. This should not happen. Then vary the location of the right answer according to the number of choices. It should not happen that every time the 3rd option is correct and others are distractors. Then make choices in logical or numerical order. It means if we are using choices with some values, numerical values, suppose somewhere it is written 3, somewhere it is written 18, somewhere it is written 23. Then in case we should arrange it in an orderly fashion, 3, 23 and 28. Not like this, that 3 at first choice, then second 28, then third 23. It should not happen like that. Then keep choices independent. Choices should not be overlapping. Keep choices homogeneous. It is very important that choices should be homogeneous. If one choice is in numerical value, then all should be in numerical value. If one is showing a ratio, then all should be a ratio. If one is only one statement, then all should be a statement. So there should be homogeneity in all the choices. Then length of the choices should be almost equal. Whether it is, it may be not possible that these all are exactly equal, but almost equal should be there. Then none of the above should be used very carefully. In fact, we should try to avoid, but even if it is being used, it should be used very carefully. Then all of the above. Haladina et al. Are advocating that we should avoid all of the above option. And that is very simple. If we are writing all or none, it means we are already removing from our side one of the choices. And we have already reduced the number of choices for them. So it is better not to use them. Then phrase choices positively, avoid negatives such as, and one more thing, avoid giving clues to the right answer, such as a specific determinants, including always, never, completely, and absolutely. Then clang associations, identical choices, resembling words, these all give clues to the student. So we should avoid giving any sort of clues, whether it is grammatic or it should be identical. Then conspicuous correct answers and pairs or triplets or test taker, these should also avoid. Then bluntly absurd, ridiculous options should also be avoided because already it gives a cue that it cannot be the correct answer. Now, make all distractors plausible. So this sentence in itself tells all which we have discussed till now, that all distractors should be plausible. Students should feel that all are looking like correct. Okay, so they are so close to each other that it looks like all correct answer. Then use typical errors of students to write your distractors. It means very small errors which students do commit. These mistakes we should use in formulating in the MCQ so that they are prone to make those mistakes. So either they will learn by their mistake or they see it there only and understand that this is a mistake. Now, what is our take-home message? We have seen that there are 5 families of MCQ format. Most commonly used one and the recommended format is the one-based answer type. Then structure of the MCQ, we have seen that it has one stem that continues into the lead question. It is followed by options or choices in which there are one either most appropriate answer or the only best answer, and others are 3 to 4 distractors which distract the students from opting for the most appropriate answer. Now, road ahead, we should have a large question bank in our assessment cell for the use during examinations when questions can be taken out or sampled from that large question bank. Now, these are the references I have just already told you people. So this is the Susan et al. Constructing written test questions for the basic and clinical sciences. And Haladina, TM, and Downing et al. They have written the review of multiple choice item writing guidelines. Thank you. Thank you for silent listening.